Hello, Joni Rotten here, back with another Rotten Reads. Do old Tupperware products have BPA? What to do with old Tupperware? I grew up in the Tupperware era of the United States, and I have to tell you, this is scary. We're talking about generational warfare. Tupperware plastic products are mainly used for storage of food, but there are also safety concerns that arise after using these products. Therefore, you should know about food safety and plastics, and you may need answers to the following questions. Do old Tupperware products have BPA? What to do with your old Tupperware? Is it safe to use? And these questions might not be sufficient to provide you with safety, but they give you an insight about how you can use these products, such as this guide also gives you basic information about Tupperware products, such that you can use them with due diligence. My red shoes. Do old Tupperware products have BPA? Before attempting to answer this question, you must know what BPA is. According to the National Institute of Environmental Health, BPA is an abbreviation for biphenyl A, and this is a chemical that is often produced in large quantities. The chemical is primarily used in the production of epoxy resins and polycarbonate plastic, which are used for different purposes, including food and beverage storage. While there are varying opinions about the safety of BPA between health organizations, researchers, as well as governmental agencies, the general sentiment is that the chemical is potentially harmful to human beings. For instance, BPA could be toxic to the development of the nervous system of a newborn baby. On top of that, it can also be observed that BPA is linked to conditions like obesity and cardiovascular diseases in both children and adults. BPA can also cause other diseases like diabetes, reproductive disorders, as well as breast cancer, among others. And I just want to say this here. I just was reminded, the universe reminded me recently that a daughter is born with her eggs, which means that your granddaughter is being formed in the grandmother, not in the mother. The mother's already born with the eggs that will become the children. And so it is actually the grandmother in which these eggs are formed during the developmental fetal stage. So when we're talking about a generational warfare taking place, or whether or not you believe in conspiracy theories, it seems to me like these are some dots that are interesting to look at when we're talking about such things. And why all of a sudden is there a generation that is having so many health conditions? Why did we suddenly see a lot of teenagers with cardiovascular diseases? Could it be because when they were children, their mothers were warming up leftovers in Tupperware, which contains BPA at high temperatures and so forth and so on? Constantly putting our food in containers that contain chemicals. I mean, think about what Tupperware meant to last a lifetime. Plastics are very popular for food and beverage storage, but at the same time, they're also big sources of BPA. Tupperware being a popular brand, many people are also concerned about whether it is BPA free or not. You need to be certain if you're not buying a product that contains BPA. Tupperware states that as of March of 2010, it has been selling products that are BP free in a bid following the guideline of regulatory agencies and its desire to protect the interest of its consumers, not customers, consumers. The company has found other materials with better performance, and these are also BPA free to bid in a bid to replace the polycarbonate. But as we've learned, they just change the compound a small bit, and it's still years before we recognize its dangers. And that means that anything before March of 2010, which is all of our childhoods, was containing a lot of chemicals. How to identify some products with BPA, just in case you have some of these in your home. Different plastic products that you can buy have the label BPA free, but that is not may not be enough to identify a plastic product that is BPA free in your home. You must check its opaqueness. If you cannot see through the product, then it means that it is BPA free. If the container is labeled microwave safe or unbreakable, you should get rid of it. And since that is another indicator that's showing that it is BPA. Polycarbonate plastics usually have a label number 7 on them, but not all of them have this number. Containers labeled hand wash only are okay to keep since they contain an acrylic material and it is safe so far. Containers without recycling numbers and bought before 2012 are presumed to contain BPA, so get rid of them. You must do some research to make sure that you do away with containers that may be BPA. What to do with old Tupperware? There are different things that you can do with old Tupperware. First and foremost, you should know that plastic is there to stay once created. The option of recycling plastic is good, but it does not completely eliminate it from our respective communities. Therefore, you can use your old Tupperware containers for composting. Let it leach in the soil for your garden. If you are conscious about environmental issues, you can use old containers for your compost in the backyard. This means that you'll practice organic gardening, which is free of fertilizers containing chemicals that can be harmful for the environment. What? That doesn't make any sense, but okay. Could also use old Tupperware containers for the storage of different items in your garage. You can use the containers to hold necessary junk like bolts, nuts, as well as screws. The same containers can also be used for storage in the bathroom to hold things like pins and others. You should just make sure that your food does not come close to your old Tupperware containers. Otherwise, they remain useful. But if your food is touching it or your hands are touching it or a hairpin that you're going to then put into your scalp, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. There is no need of disposing of the old containers since they can also serve the useful purposes in your home. Is it safe to use? Well, Tupperware products that contain BPA are not safe to use for purposes of storing or microwaving food. Think of how many foods you've ate, how many times you've ate things straight out of the microwave in your lifetime. Now, you might not have done it much as an adult because you were smart like that and you started to notice that it melts a little or whatever. You had a thought in your mind that, maybe heating this up isn't. But as kids and back at a time where humans weren't as smart, it even said items that said microwave safe are not microwave safe. So I'm just asking the question of a generation who is now grandparents. So the grandchildren of this generation that are having so many autisms, ADD, mental this, mental that. Are these all connected somehow between the plastics and the Lucy juices and the, fake foods and so forth and so on? Remember there was a show called My Strange Addiction or something, and it had people that would eat bizarre things like chalk and toilet paper. I kind of feel like I've been eating chalk and toilet paper and I've not been told, like when you go to someone's house and you're like, man, this is really good sausage and this spaghetti. What is it? And they tell you it's Bambi or something like that, or it's a moose, or it's alligator, or it's some other odd animal that you weren't expecting. And you were like, well, turns out I'm a fan of rattlesnake. You see what I'm saying? Um, there are some containers that are marketed for safe for microwave use, but there is a danger that heating them can be dangerous. If the plastic container has a toxicants, this may leach into the food if they are heated. This can also be caused by the chemical reaction of acidic foods like vinegar, lemon juice, or tomato sauce. And I'm reminded of how many Tupperware containers were ruined because they had things in them like spaghetti sauce. And they would leave this kind of indentation inside the dish. It changed and it would soak up the dye of it had a reaction with the tomatoes in there. Anybody who has Tupperware who had it would know exactly what I'm talking about. BPA issues raise a lot of concerns among customers towards polycarbonate products. However, this is not the only product that can leach toxicants that can contaminate your food. You must make sure that all your plastic containers are not damaged and no other leaching risks that can include the following: overusing the plastic containers for a very long time. Of course, we know Tupperware is supposed to have a lifetime. Storing acidic foods, putting food while the container is still hot, microwaving food in plastic containers and causing scratches to the container. So if you're scraping, which, we all know that's what the problem with Teflon is that it would literally flake off. And you're eating these little peelings, if you will. And again, I'm just thinking, this goes into water bottles. Why a whole generation of people right at their a milestone in their life, is there an obsession with water bottles and recycling water? In a world where we're green and we're trying to think about the environment, we're selling and pushing disposable products. And then we bitch about straws, which only causes people who need straws as a necessary form of their life to have an uproar, when the reality is, get rid of your stupid yoga water bottle. Stop drinking Monsters in a can. Do you see what I'm saying? Stop buying so many yoga pants in breathable fabrics. It's ludicrous. Keep going. I didn't say rant. It did say read. I'm sorry. I may have to fix that later. It's a rotten read and a little rant. However, to be 100% safe, you can opt to switch to using glass or different purposes, for different purposes in your kitchen. I've since done that. Of course, they come with lids that are plastic. So, or you're putting plastic wrap over it. So, I don't know. Glass does not leach chemicals. A dishwasher and it's microwave safe, and it does not stain or wear out. The conclusion is that Tupperware products are very popular and they are mainly used for storage of food. However, containers with BPA are not safe for your health, so you must avoid letting them get in contact with your food. Old Tupperware products can still serve a useful purpose in your home, such as composting and storage and other items, which we stated earlier. So there's no need to discard them. Keep them around. They're only going to fill up the landfills anyway. So that's an interesting article. I may very well be back with more. I got to get that off of there. It was causing my computer to be extremely slow. All of those ads popping up. Yeah. Are you plastic family a Zaman family?